7 live here in probably another 10 seconds. And I'm going to also hit record. So, government language.
You have the monitor on in the council room that you can see it, Ethan?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep. Man, Pat is live. We're good.
We're good to go. Well, good evening, Halstead residents. In light of the circumstances affecting the world, including ours here locally, we are being vigilant and complying with CDC, KDHE, and the Harvey County Health Department's guidelines for social distancing, and we have moved to an electronic remote format for tonight's meeting. City staff is working closely with the county to present a united front in serving our public and doing our best to protect our people and employees from this threat. Ethan was part of a conference call this morning with the Harvey County Council of Governments, which generally includes city and county managers along with the mayors of all the communities here in Harvey County. From what I have seen, communication will continue to occur at least once a week until this threat is diminished. Additionally, staff are meeting on a routine basis with each other, with state professional organizations, and county and state agencies, sharing information, updates, and best practices. The council and I are also being updated by staff on a continuous basis on the situation. The COVID-19 virus appears to be very aggressive as far as spreading. We are asking our public to take this threat seriously. Please be vigilant with your hand washing and social distancing. If you are unwell, please limit with others. Based on what I am seeing in the news and updates I have received from various agencies and our staff, we are still in the beginning stages of this epidemic, and it would be reasonable to assume that the number of cases will continue to grow until this peaks out. I would ask people to remember to try and support local businesses as much as possible, especially during this event, as they provide a much needed supply system of goods, food, and services for many of our residents. It is in everybody's best interest to follow guidelines from our local, state, and federal agencies and help limit exposure to this virus. The City of Halstead will continue to push out information via social media, the city website, and other communication methods available to us. I ask that all residents do their best to stay informed and comply with these guidelines. All city staff and departments remain committed to continuing to deliver services while adhering to wellness guidelines to prevent or limit potential exposure to the general public or staff. In doing so, hopefully we can keep our healthcare facilities at a level where they can continue to treat everybody that has the need and not overwhelm them. If you have a need that is urgent, regardless of the nature, please reach out via telephone, email, or Facebook to our city offices, and our staff will do their best to accommodate those needs, or at least put you in touch with an agent. As always, in an emergency, please call 911, and our first responders will be dispatched accordingly. Thank you for your attention to and cooperation in this manner. May God bless you and your families on behalf of your governing body, Mayor Travis. So after that, I'd like to call tonight's council meeting to order. And the first thing I'm going to ask Ethan, is there any agenda changes?
Mr. Mayor, we have no agenda changes to present from a staff level at this time.
Okay, that being said, I'll move on and I'm going to ask for the approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. Hammer, go ahead. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda for March 23rd, 2020.
Is that Sam?
I second that.
Okay, we have a second from Denise. One
Correct, there's no one here minus Jared from the Independent, so no one in public forum this evening.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business, and the first item is public hearing for 204 Main that we moved to this meeting, and how do you want to handle that this evening, Ethan?
We have had to update the council, contact with her. She indicated that we should be receiving in the mail the property deed by the end of this week. So we would just ask for a motion to continue this until the April 13th meeting, whereby hopefully we have received and filed that quitclaim, or that corrected quitclaim.
Mr. Mayor, this is George Torres, and I would make a motion to this issue public hearing on 204 Main until April 13th.
Thank you, George.
Mike, with a second.
Thank you, Mike. Second on the floor to continue the public hearing for 204 Main until April 13th. In favor, aye. Opposed, nay. Denise, you're first.
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
And Mike, sorry I skipped it, Mike.
Aye.
Heard motion second. Everybody has voted in favor. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is consideration of property and liability insurance quotes. And with that, Ethan will review what he sent to the council earlier.
Mr. Mayor, hopefully all of you saw your email with the updated comparison. The comparison that was in the packet was missing a few updates, and we had, if you'll notice, some items that we marked as we were unsure at the time whether that was coverage that K-Camp or EMC offered. So via email, probably about 5 o'clock, you guys should have received that update. The staff recommendation from the previous meeting as far as switching to K-Camp is still our recommendation after doing this review based on all the factors. Bill Charleston also could not be with us this evening, but did pass on correspondence, which we forwarded all to you. So hopefully you all had a chance to review those comments from Bill on it. But I guess if there's any questions, I'll do my best to answer. Both of Bill and David with K-Camp are available via telephone if we have any questions that Jamie or myself can answer.
Mr. Mayor, I do want to make one statement based off the last council meeting that we had, and with regards to that, staff did an excellent job with putting together the figures so that we can do that cross comparison against the two companies. So, with that said, I want to say that, with us going through this and making this motion this evening, we are doing what is best, for the taxpayers with regards to spending their money judiciously, and also, at that point, I just want to make it known that, based off of that, we did review this data, and we're going to call the motion.
Any other council members like to weigh in on this subject?
I just want to thank staff for their detailed work on putting together a comparison that makes it simple for the governing body to look at and understand. So thank you, guys.
Thanks, Ed. Anybody else? Join no other comments, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, if there are no further questions, I would make a motion to approve resolution number 03-23-2020-02 to join the Kansas County Association multi-line K-Camp and approve property and liability insurance premiums with K-Camp not to exceed $59,526 and authorize staff to sign and file documents as necessary.
second, George Torres.
Okay, we have the motion and the second on the floor to accept the proposal from K-Camp for our liability insurance. In favor, aye. Opposed, nay. Denise?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We will move on to the next item on our agenda, which is new business. Item 1 is consideration of check number 116077 through ordinance number 2020-8B06A. Ethan, you gonna bring us up to speed on what that check is for?
Yes, this is for, this check is to C-Square and is for signs related to the city's census outreach. The amount of the check is $105. I will note that the money for these signs, actually, Jamie and her staff worked and got a grant from the League of Kansas Municipalities, so that will be reimbursed back to us for the expenses on those signs. And then just take this as we always do of hopefully everybody has received their census. Please fill it out. It's very important to Halstead to get a complete count. Everything with the COVID-19 is going to change that a little bit as far as some of that outreach we had planned, but you know, you can do it by phone and you can do it online, so please fill it out when you can.
Okay, I would imagine that motion and a second to carry on with this. Ed, you're probably gonna have to stay out of this.
All right, Mr. Mayor, this is Mike. I'll make a motion to approve check number 116077 in the amount of $105 to C-Square Signs for signage created for the 2020 census.
Second.
And Denise Clausen with the second, so motion and a second to approve this check. In favor, aye. Opposed, nay. And we'll start again with you, Denise.
Aye.
We're gonna skip you, Ed, and we'll go to Sam,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
and George.
Aye.
Motion approved and passes unanimously with Ed abstaining. Item 2 is consideration of wastewater treatment plant phase 2 alternative study.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If council will remember, we did a full review of the wastewater treatment plant, of the facility, very high-level overview of it, as well as kind of looking at our historical data to make sure the plant would still continue to serve Halstead's needs, population and volume-wise, for years to come. MKAC completed that, gave us a list as far as staff perspective on some items they definitely think we should look at or that would make the most sense to pursue next in terms of upgrades. This proposal begins to allow them to look at that. The first thing they want to do that we've discovered is the electrical one-line diagram we have is the original, and it's not been updated to reflect kind of the upgrades and whatnot through the years, so they want to get that done just to know with any new things we add, be it SCADA or something of that the electrical system can handle it, and that we're up to current code for the safety of our employees and just overall plant stability. And then they're going to look at alternatives specific to grit removal and handling, the oxidation ditch, clarifiers, UV disinfection, and then instrumentation and controls. And that will give us hopefully options in some of these so we can plan a way forward on needed repairs or upgrades. And I will note that with other proposals we'd have from MKEC, that $20,000 is max amount, so it is possible if their time takes less than they've estimated that we would have a lower cost than that. And then based on Attorney Jantz's recommendation on our last agreement with MKEC, there is a amended language that we like to put in section 6, and that was included in your packet on page 34. And MKEC has indicated they have no issue with that language change, so that is why the motion asks for the amendments as made by staff, should you choose to approve.
This is Sam Farmer, and if there's no further questions, I would make a motion to approve the proposal from MKEC for the wastewater treatment plant, engineering assessment for an amount of $20,000, subject to staff revision and amendment as presented, and authorization for staff to sign.
This is Mike, and a second.
Thank you, Sam and Mike. You heard the motion in the second. If you're in favor, opposed, nay. Denise?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
And George?
Aye.
Alrighty, council, thank you. That motion passes unanimously. And we will move on to the third item under new business, which is consideration of the 2020 slurry seal project. Again, Ethan will enlighten us on that.
Thank you. In order to keep moving forward on maintaining our streets, we contacted South Central, who was scheduled last October to come in and do a large sealing project. They did manage to get the patching work done for that project, but then the weather changed, so they were not able to do the sealing or do some warranty work from their previous 2018 project that they were coming out to do. So we contacted them to get as early in their schedule as possible. You can see on the map, which I believe is page 39, it has the streets highlighted that are specific to this. They will, of course, be coming and doing sections of Pine and 10th that they did not get to last year, and also Leslie Lane, Kim Street, and that area we had some sealing. So all this work will be done. We are asking for approval of $210,000, and that gives us contingency just in case there's some extra patching that they haven't found, but they did a pretty thorough analysis. With us starting this early, we are very hopeful that we will not have weather delays that sees us have to push off another year or more, and this is going to keep those, streets that have just need the maintenance from deteriorating further.
Hey, council, do you have any questions regarding this project?
I have a question, Mr. Mayor. This is project work scheduled for last year, but wasn't able to be completed. So budget-wise, we already budgeted for much of this expense.
Yeah, well, they would be in town to do the work we budgeted and encumbered last year. So this is actually another $200,000 of work on top of the $150 they did or were scheduled to do last year. But all this still falls within our capital street plan and how much we set aside every year to do projects. And this would see us pretty much, with the exception of brick streets and then one area, the 9th and Walnut region, have all the streets that are south of 6th and then east of Main would have been sealed or patched or mill and overlaid or reconstructed. Cedar Drive is the only one south of 6th that will not have been touched yet on these projects. And we plan hopefully to bring recommendation from the engineer on that 9th and Walnut to also look at reconstruction this year. So.
Mike, go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I just had one question. We had the fiasco develop over in the southeast corner of town last year that added quite a substantial amount to the street repairs because of underflow.
Mm-hmm.
Have they done their core sampling to at least confirm that they know that's not a potential problem?
With the sealing, we did not do core sampling because this is more just providing patches for areas that, you know, might have severe alligator cracking or something along that lines. The seal, you know, is more of a top coat, so it's not quite as invasive to that surface as a mill and overlay is. A lot of, like, some of the issues you see on pine, where it looks like there's, I'll call them micro potholes for lack of a better term, that's actually the old slurry seal just cracking off. So they'll come and recoat that and give it that smooth surface again, or the more uniform
Okay, so the
surface.
heavy equipment shouldn't be a major issue on the streets then?
No, this will just be oil trucks and, yeah, aggregate basically.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, council?
Well, Mr. Mayor, if there's no further questions, I'll make a motion to approve the proposal for patching and slurry seal work by South Central Sealing and Paving for an amount not to exceed $210,000 and approval for staff to sign any necessary documentation.
George.
Got the motion and a second to approve the 2020 slurry seal project. In favor, aye. Opposed, nay. Again, Denise, I'll start with you.
Aye.
Ed? Are you there, Ed?
I think we lost
I
Ed.
think we lost Ed. We'll,
He's not showing on my
continue
roster.
on. Sam?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
That's 4 out of 5. That's enough to pass. If Ed comes back, I'll certainly entertain his vote. With that being said, we will, in light of some technical difficulties, we'll continue to move on. And the next item on the agenda is executive sessions, which we have none tonight, thank God. We'll move on to reports, and we'll start with the governing body. And I'll start with you, Denise.
Okay. I would just want to say, I want to, these are really unprecedented times that we have. I've been a nurse for 36 years and have not really seen anything that has affected our entire country the way this has. We are a small community, we're a small knit community, and I would just like to encourage all the residents that, be smart about this. Stay home if you don't have to go out. If you're sick, please don't go out. Both of our long-term care facilities here in Halstead are on what we would call lockdown. Nobody gets in, nobody gets out, so to speak. And that's really hard on them. If you guys have time and want to write maybe a note or something to the residents of those facilities, I know that they would enjoy that. They would be appreciative of that because they're seeing staff on a daily basis, but they aren't seeing their families. And yes, they'll call and those kinds of things, but you have people sometimes that are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. They don't really know how to use this wonderful technology and do FaceTime and that kind of stuff. So I'd encourage you guys to reach out to them. I encourage you to shop your local businesses, go in, get what you need, go home, and just remember the things that the CDC is telling us is, don't touch your face, stay home if you're sick, you wash your hands, and wash your hands.
Thank you, Denise. I concur. Since we don't have Ed back yet, I'll go ahead and move on to you, Sam. Do you have anything you'd like to add this evening?
Just one thing, we probably have 5 minutes before we get cut off, and other than that, I don't.
Okay. Mike?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
George?
Well, so much of what Denise said is we need to take to heart, and I think one last thing is to just stay informed, stay plugged in and stay informed.
Agreed. I can certainly tell you from my perspective, with the years that I've had as far as involvement with the governing body, it seems like we're always faced with some unique challenges, but I certainly didn't see anything like this coming down the city manager. That would be you, Ethan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the interest of time and not knowing how this was going to work, I don't have a really exhaustive report for you this evening, other than, we are adjusting to the situation. Public Works is still maintaining and doing their work around the city. Our emergency services are monitor and working around the clock, responding. As you have all pointed out, this is kind of new territory for all of us and all the city departments. So, and it's kind of hard to remember, it seems like we've been doing this for a long time now as far as response or monitoring, but it's only been a couple days. So we continue to adjust and just ask residents, as you all have, to continue to stay in touch with us via Facebook or the website. Chances are, the governor announced her new executive order on the groups of 10 or less starting tomorrow. So operationally, that's going to mean we're going to have some changes. We'll do our best to make sure that the public is still served going forward. And anyone, as the mayor said at the beginning of the meeting, please contact us at City Hall for us to work with. And sorry, Ed's trying to get back in the meeting. We'll let him back in. But other than that, everything's continuing, and we'll.
I'm sorry, there ain't enough power on my laptop. I have to get a cord.
So.
I'm glad it was self-induced and not a problem caused by the software. We'll let Ethan continue with his report.
But yeah, I
Do you
mean.
have anything else to add, Ethan?
No, just to sum up, we're, maintaining in the cities or the departments and operating as we need to and making adjustments. And just ask all of you as council, please check those council emails, because that's primarily how I'm sending out information. If we make changes to, say, City Hall having public access or anything like that, I will be sure to inform you all of any of those changes. And as everyone said, stay informed, wash your hands, don't go out if you don't need to, or don't go out especially if you're sick. And thank you everyone for your patience while we figured this out.
This is Sam Farmer, and I have one quick question. Do we need to do anything on the bills and payroll since we're doing this electronically?
Normally we do have you guys all sign that as part of the meeting. Because it's an ordinance and it's been approved through a recorded motion and that, we will just secure the mayor's signature on that at the very least, since those are appropriation ordinances. But we can have it signed when it's no longer a concern. So.
Okay, thank you.
Good question.
Thanks for the question, Sam. Before I ask for a motion to adjourn, I would give Mr. Campbell a chance. We passed the motion for the 2020 slurry seal, but I'll let you weigh in with your vote if you'd like. How do you find on that issue?
I vote in favor, but I would also like to add a council comment to I missed the comment section too.
And I'm going to let you do that as well, Ed. Under governing body report, you certainly have an opportunity right now to have the floor.
I'd like to give a shout out to Jamie and Julie in particular. I'm involved in the complete count committee that is involved with the census, and they've done an excellent job. I'd like to just applaud them for the job that they've done and the leadership, and making sure that we're focusing and doing the best we can to get a total count of all of the residents of Halstead.
Sounds good. Thanks, Ed. I definitely appreciate the cooperation that you as a council have shown today, going through this application so we can make this work tonight. I know it's trying times, and we're trying to adapt and overcome and maintain our business with the requirements of the CDC and other health organizations. So hang in there and stay safe, everybody. And at this time, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
This is Ed. I would make that motion.
Second.
seconded?
call on you individually, so I'm gonna say
Who
all in
seconded it?
favor, say